As we reported, it was big news yesterday morning. Denver Public Schools and a teachers union reached a tentative 3-year contract agreement just hours after the old one expired. Joining us right now, 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor. So Whitney, we had it live breaking on the news. Darius Johnson was out there when we found out that they were able to reach something. So let's go over the negotiations a bit and what were the major terms of the deal. Break it down for us.
Sure. And it was interesting because we know in 2019, the last negotiation they had, they ended in a teacher strike, which hadn't happened in 25 years. So I think everybody was a little nervous of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it went so smooth, I mean, respectfully, DPS is a little bit of a hot mess right now. There's so many various issues going on. So the fact that they were able to come together and really agree on some of these major terms was really significant. And the major terms were that the returning teachers will get an annual increase of 8.7%. Starting teachers will be just a little bit above 50 grand. Okay. And then they have 2.5 million for other employee benefits.
And is there, what really is holding up this process? And are there any major disagreements that could stop the deal for them?
Right. So the deal hasn't been finalized as far as, at least as of this morning, nothing was being reported. So I think the few issues that they were trying to work out were class size. I think right now the class size is 35. They wanted to get that down to 20 for kindergarten through 3rd and 25 for 4th grade through 8th grade. So that's one issue. Other benefits are also an issue, but the Teachers Association wanted a 12% increase, but they got 8.7. So I think the major sticking points are resolved, and so these other things will resolve. I would be shocked if things fell apart at this point. And
you mentioned that strike in 2019. Do you think that impacted negotiations on this round?
That's a good question, and I do think so. I mean, this really goes back to the purpose of unions, right? And unions were developed in the 40s and 50s, and they were really set up to give the employees some power because they didn't have any power. They were getting injured and all these other things. And so when you look at now the union and the fact that they were able to implement a strike in 2019, which went on for 3 days, as I said, that really stalled things. So I think it was difficult on both sides. So yeah, I do think there was a little bit of that sort of taste in their mouth in these negotiations, so it made it go smoother.
Yeah, well, that is sure a good thing. What about other unions? Are there other agreements with them as well?
Right, so there's, because there's the cafeteria worker, paraprofessionals, and all of those. And they did actually include, some of those are still working out, but there were some things such as the paraprofessionals, the minimum wage was raised to $20 an hour. It will be $20 an hour minimum wage for all employees by the school year 24-25. And then, of course, wages were increased for the campus security officers and food service and other people. So, yes, a lot of people got a bump up. They're still hashing out some of the final details on those as well. But I think it's all's well that ends well.
Yeah, absolutely, Whitney. It was funny. We were talking about all this yesterday as we're hearing Russell Wilson's contract over $200 million, $247 million, and then teachers are just fighting for just a little bit more just to make ends meet in this economy.
It's so tough, and that's a great point, and that's what the issue is that we have to pay school teachers more.
Yeah.
And that's been across the nation. That's been an issue, and part of the problem also for teachers is some of the increased issues with behavior, right? So they're saying, look, teachers are having so much to deal with now, and I think the average high school teacher only lasts about 5 years, and they overwhelmingly cite behavior as the issue. So one of the negotiating points was having time off during the day to prepare for your have a review period, if you will. So, and they did get some of that time in there.
Well, good. That's good. Thank you so much for breaking that down. I know it's a lot of numbers and it's still really unfolding, so always good to have you in, Whitney. Thank you.
Sure thing. Good to be here.